In this video, I want to talk about uveitis in the eye and tinnitus in my ear. Hey everybody, how are you? Hope you are doing well. So a few weeks ago, I made a video in regards to autoimmune conditions, and I talked about generally people who has autoimmune disease, they would have multiple different subcategories of different autoimmune conditions. Like for instance, for me, I have ankylosing spondylitis, and as well as IBS and a GERD, and then I have uveitis in my eye, and then I have tinnitus. Those are the conditions I am dealing with in my autoimmune conditions. But today I want to talk about uveitis and tinnitus. Now, these are the two least problems that I am dealing with. Disclaimer, everything I talked about are medical conditions I am dealing with in the past or currently I'm still dealing with. I am not a medical professional nor in any of the medical field. So if you have any questions or concerns, please direct those to your doctor. Everything that I talked about are purely experience of my own been dealing with my journey in my medical health issues. Thank you. So uveitis is another condition that I've been dealing with the autoimmune condition. And recently, I just actually last a couple of days ago, I just started having some uh, irritations and pain in the eye. Um, Now with uveitis, I did not had uveitis for many years. I just started having uveitis, I believe, maybe 5 6 years ago, and that it's the first time I start having came up. I have my autoimmune conditions for almost 40 years already, so it's been a long time. And the uveitis just came about maybe a few years ago when suddenly my eye just starts hurting. I thought it was just irritation. I mean, we all have eye irritations here and there. And I just had, I believe, I have some uveitis developing as of yesterday. Now, generally, what I do when this starts happening is I don't really just go for the anti-inflammatory drops. I just kind of wait it out for a little bit because there are many times with the uveitis, it pretty much with eye issues, it kind of linked to more of a irritation than the actual uveitis itself. So if it's just a regular irritation, what I do is I just go for, just some regular teardrops just to kind of lubricate the eye. And generally it does take it away if it's not uveitis. But if it's an allergy, and that can happen as well, I have an allergy eye drop as well. And it's not odd because recently I am in Los Angeles, and recently we are still dealing with the major fire that we're having. The air is very polluted. I'm not in the fire zone, thank God, but I am in the smoke zone. I am only about 5 6 miles, maybe no more than 10 kilometers from the actual fire itself. So the smoke actually gets quite bad the last few days. It's cleared up a little bit, but they were saying that we were going to be picking up some wind, and hopefully it's not going to elevate the fire any more than it's already, the damages has already been done, hopefully. But the air is very polluted, and when I get outside, I can feel my eye, it gets more irritated than being indoor. However, since of last night, well, it started yesterday morning. Since of last night, I've been using the allergy drop as well as the teardrop. Um, I'm not getting much relief from it. So as of last evening, I kind of pretty much know that I start having uveitis coming on. So I start using this anti-inflammatory drop. This is the steroid drop. It's a prescription medication that you do have to get from your ophthalmologist. And that really is the treatment for uveitis. Uveitis is really the inflammation. It's not the outside layer, but it's in the inner layer. There's a three-layer portion of the uvea inside the eye, and if it's inflated, you really need to kind of get to a ophthalmologist as soon as possible and have them take a look at it and make sure that they give you some eye drops to go with it. Otherwise, it's going to irritate a lot. It's going to hurt. It will be light sensitive. If you step outside, you see the sunlight, you're going to get light sensitivity. You keep on trying to close my eyes, and there are times that I can be having tears coming out. And as I go on for a little bit longer, the eye starts getting blurry and a little fuzzy. So with uveitis, even I talked about earlier, so that these are the least of my problems. It's still an issue. It's still a major issue. Like I mentioned, when uveitis comes up, you really need to get to an ophthalmologist and get that diagnosed to make sure if it is a uveitis, then we need to get some non-steroid anti-inflammatory eye drop for it. And a lot of doctors likes to use, these pretty much like the Forte, I believe. It's a steroid drop, and start off with like 4 drops a day or so for a few days, for 3, 4, 5 days, and then start tapering off. As steroid, like any other steroid, even with the oral steroid, you need to start tapering off at the end, right? So that's the treatment for uveitis. Now I did mention I didn't get this for a very long time, just probably 5, 6 years ago, and it doesn't really come up frequently for me. I had it, including this time. This is probably my 4th time out of maybe the last 5, 6, 7 years or so. So it doesn't really come up very frequently. Now, what's interesting, the first time that I had uveitis, what's caused my eye to be really red and irritating, and it hurts. And this could be just me, and I'm pretty sure this definitely just me and maybe a very few people. There is a probiotic that actually caused my eye to have problem. I also have found out that there's also another supplement, fish oil, that can also make my eye really red. It's interesting. But the fish oil made both of my eye red. The probiotics that I took was like I don't know, the probiotic 10 or something. It has a lot of microbials in there, like 20 billion or something. That was a lot. So when I took that, the next day I start having irritations on my eyes, start getting red, it start hurting. And I didn't think of anything in the beginning. It was like, wow, why would that be? And the next time, I not very good at taking those probiotics anyway. So on and off, I skipped it for a couple of days, and then it came back to it, and there it goes again. It starts irritating the eyes. So, it's something interesting for me. So again, uveitis is, it's not a major issue in my life, but it is a concern when the uveitis comes up. It is very bothersome to start off with. And if you don't really treat it, ultimately the eye can go bad and you can lose your vision. That's the worst case scenario. It is very easily treated with the anti-inflammatory drug, and then talk to the rheumatologist. If the autoimmune system is starting to elevate again, I am on biologic, which is suppresses my immune system, but sometimes it's not enough. So the rheumatologist might also look for another solution, another medication on top of that, just to make sure that it doesn't really come on frequently. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is tinnitus. Tinnitus is the ringing in the ear. Now, tinnitus is not a direct category of an autoimmune condition, but I believe for me, it's definitely, if it's not directly related, it's definitely indirectly related, because I am having so much issues. The autoimmune condition in my body is causing all kinds of issues that I have. It's pretty crazy. It's not only just the ringing in the ear, but I also have cognitive behaviors, cognitive sensations like nerve issues, different sensations elsewhere. So yeah, this is I don't know when I start having this. From what I remember, is it's been there forever. I just keep on having this ringing in the ear, both ears ringing. And when I'm not feeling very well that day, the ringing is it's very, very noticeable. And I do believe over the last 30 or 40 years, however many years I had it, I have built up a little bit of a loss of hearing. There is a small pitch. I believe it's the high pitch on my right ear, and I cannot hear as well. So even if I have the headset here, if I make it, there's a phone conversation. Sometimes it's kind of hard for me to hear the actual words. I can hear, but it's very hard to hear. There's if I am in public, like a noisy area, then it's really hard for me to hear, even if I have a headphone in here. Now, unfortunately, I have been to some ENTs and the ear doctors. There really isn't any treatment for it. There's no such thing as a inflammatory drop that I can drop in there and hopefully it can go away. It isn't. I just had a hearing test maybe about a month ago compared to about 2 years ago, and maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago I had another. And I remember many years ago, even like 20 years ago or so, I had a hearing test back in those days. To come to think of it, I did have one. The good thing in my test is that the progression has not been actually progressed too much. The hearing between the last three tests, including the one about maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's very much about the same. However, I am still have hearing problem on my right ear. So there's a lot of stuff that can be caused by autoimmune condition. Now, like I said, it's a possibility that in my case, it's not a direct relation, but it's definitely indirectly causing my hearing problem and the hearing losses. So if you are having, ringing in the ear, and if you are having some other conditions in your body, your bone condition, Crohn's conditions, lupus, and all that other major autoimmune conditions, there's a very good chance or possibility that it can cause any kind of issues, in your other, the eye, the ear, the mouth, the nose, and all that stuff as well. So it's really unfortunate that, we all have to go through and deal with these conditions, but the only way that we can do it is trying to manage it as best as possible. And I do have, all kinds of doctors that I can go see if I have something elevated really badly. So I hope you don't have as much problem as I do. And if you do have any of these conditions, make sure you go see your doctor, follow up with your doctor, and then always piggyback to your rheumatologist. Because your rheumatologist is really the person that can manage your autoimmune conditions and get you all the treatment that you need, whatever that you need. So are you dealing with uveitis as well as, tinnitus like me, or any other conditions in the front? Now, I did have an MRI in my brain and my spine, and I know my spine here is completely fused, so it's causing all kinds of problems. And that's the possibility that I'm having these upper issues here. So how about you? Love to hear from you. What are you doing to help your uveitis, and how often do you have your uveitis? Do you actually have tinnitus like I do? And how long have you had it? What is your doctor telling you to do? And what kind of treatment are you on? I love to hear from you, because I would love to learn from you to see what can help kind of reduce these noises as well, and at the same time reduce the inflammation. I'm not getting the eye inflammation very often, but still, one less time is a good thing, right? So anyway, thank you for watching. That's all for my video for today. I just want to kind of catch up and kind of do this video. I haven't done this for a while, and we are still dealing with the fire. Hopefully everything will be set up in the next few days, and I feel bad for a lot of people who lost their homes. It's just horrible. But, we are all dealing with a lot of pain ourselves, and take good care of yourself. So if you like my video, give me a like, and please subscribe. I'll have more videos coming out sharing my experience. Hopefully, some people can learn from what I have gone through, as well as I love to hear from you and see what you have done, what you have been doing, and I would love to learn from you as well, because whatever that we are dealing with, this autoimmune condition, is ongoing. So anyway, thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.